Now that we have the overly dramatic intro out of the way, I can talk about what this thing is. It's a preamp for an accelerometer, and what an accelerometer does is it measures vibrations. It's kind of like a microphone in that regard, in that a microphone measures vibrations in the air in the form of sound, while an accelerometer will attach to something that's vibrating and measure how much it is actually moving. While you watch me solder the parts onto this too small piece of perf board that I have here, I'll do my best to explain how this circuit works. First thing we need to look at is the accelerometer itself. Inside there are two components mainly. The first is the transducer, and that's what does the actual measurement of the vibrations. And that puts out a very small electrical signal. And to boost that signal up to where it's, actually usable, there's also a small transistor in there. And that transistor needs to be powered. And that's what that plus V is for. That's the positive voltage. And there are two other connections. The first is the ground, and that's pretty straightforward. You just connect that to the ground in the preamp circuit. But the other one is the output, except the output is also connected to the V minus through that 180K resistor. And that completes the circuit so that the transistor can operate. Immediately after that, there's a small capacitor, and what that does mainly is it blocks the DC from that 180K resistor from coming back and going into the op amp. One of the interesting things that a capacitor can do is it will allow AC to go through, but it will block DC from going through. And it's the AC that we want to send into the op amp and amplify. As for the op amp, the circuit calls for an LF353. I didn't have one of those, so I made a substitution. And the one that I use is actually better when you're using batteries to power the circuit. The op amp runs on a bipolar supply, and that's that V plus and V minus I was talking about before. And the way I did that was to take two 9-volt batteries and connect them together. And where they connect in the middle, that's the ground point. The op amp actually has two amplifiers on the chip, but we're just going to be using one. I know that sounds like a waste, but just the way it goes. So we're only going to be using 5 pins out of the 8. The other 3 won't be connected to anything. In order for the op amp to amplify the signal, it needs gain, and the two resistors that I'm highlighting here determine what the gain will be. It's basically 90 divided by 10 plus 1 equals a gain of 10. And if I'm not mistaken, that's 20 decibels. And then finally on the output that connects to the computer, there's another capacitor. And once again, this is being used to block any DC that happens to be there. I got lucky when I built this that it worked on the first try. That's pretty unusual when you're putting something together like this. And I didn't waste any time trying it out. And to do that, I'm using one of my bigger speakers. This one has a 15-inch woofer, and it gets down fairly low. And I needed to go down low to excite the panels properly to put out enough energy. So this first test that you're watching here is with it sped up quite a bit. And I'm using my function generator to produce the signal, and I'm sweeping it up from below 20 hertz. And the first panel that I'm testing is the biggest one on the wall, so realistically it should be the one that resonates at the lowest frequency. And I can see here that it's hitting around 40 hertz on that first peak. And since the speaker that I'm using doesn't put out a massive amount of bass, and that peak is pretty high, I'm going to assume that that is the resonant frequency of the panel. Now to go further with this, I did this twice again. I moved it down to the panel that's directly below it. This one's smaller. This one's actually 2 feet tall and 4 feet wide. And you can see the results from that sweep in this image. And then I moved the accelerometer up to an even smaller panel, and the results are shown here in this image. Now these tests that I'm doing here are not exhaustive. I still have more to do, but I'm going to wait until I build the other wall, so I'll be able to do the testing as I'm putting the panels on and see what the results will be as I go along. And that will be in an upcoming video.